Auzubillahiminashaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu pakhairagale ni hao chunushume washmale ohai gozaimasu. Guten Morgen. Hola. Bonjour. Privet. Kaifa hal? Halishuma chatore. Ahlan wa sahlan. Marhaba. Buna. Mucho. Gracias. Swabi. Balli kare aaya. Hoş geldin and I Siren. Thank you very much everybody for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning alongside my very well-learned colleague who happens to be Miss Haja Sati. I happen to be Shahzad Hasan Khan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is ready to kickstart their day with us. Hello Haja, how are you doing today?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for introducing me. I'm always humble, when you introduce me so nicely.
You deserve it.
Thank you so much, Jazakallah. So, Shahzad, I really wanted to ask you that, you used to wear glasses quite a few times ago. So, what happened to that habit of yours?
All right, so the problem, it's not that my eyes are not weak. So, the only reason why I went to the optician was that, because my eyes kept on, throwing out water.
Okay.
Or, I had watery eyes.
Okay.
But then eventually
But that indicates that you have a eyesight problem, right?
Which is why I got the glasses. But then unfortunately, I went for an event and I think I forgot my glasses over there.
Right.
But then later on, I realized that it was because of the excessive use of my cell phone that my eyes were getting watery too as well. And then, alhamdulillah, I'm able to actually adjust very differently now. So my screen time has come down quite a lot.
Okay.
I make sure that I'm
How
not...
has that happened? Can you give me some tips over that?
Yeah, what I do is that I actually make sure that, so whether for all of that screen time I'm going to have is useful for me, whether I'm learning something or not. So if I'm not learning something, if I'm just wandering around watching different videos, so I'm like, okay, you know what, it's better that I put it away and try to fall asleep or probably read a book or probably watch a movie on TV because it's far, far away, right? The TV is not right in front of your eyes. Yes. So alhamdulillah, with that, I'm able to achieve no water within the eyes too as well. And then I was like, okay, why do I even need glasses? Not just that. There was another bit too, and that was that my sisters actually kind of were saying that, hey, you know what, you all of a sudden start to look so nerdy that we're never used to of this personality of yours.
I always
as well.
take that as a compliment, no?
I mean, for you it is a compliment. For you it is a compliment and you truly deserve that compliment as well. But yes, we will talk about it, but first things first, here's the good news. You want to share the good news first?
Okay, I think you do the honors first.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, first things first, for all of those people who've been talking about how the dollar price has been going up, well, it suddenly came down. The Pakistani rupee gained strength by more than 10 rupee, and Pakistan Stock Exchange makes a remarkable comeback amidst the hope for the resumption of the $6 billion bailout package for the country. At stock market, KSE 100 index gained more than 870 points and settled at 41,068.87 today. According to the State Bank, the rupee was exchanged for 238.8 against dollar in the interbank trade yesterday. The IMF yesterday said Pakistan has taken the last prior action on July 31st to qualify for the combined 7th and 8th tranches of $1.17 billion. The executive board of the IMF is tentatively planned to meet in late August for the approval tranches once adequate financing assurances are confirmed. And even just yesterday, I actually was listening to our finance minister, Mr. Mufta Ismail, as well, where he said that, that rupee has actually literally gained value. It's not that it's bogus or something other than that. It's because of the economic activity that rupee has gained value, and which I believe is wonderful. And Mufta Ismail Saab, I have a message for you. The way you are dead honest on television, wherever you may probably go for an interview, you are doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much for being our finance minister.
Right. So, moving on to our second segment of the news, which is about England's tour of Pakistan. So, we are sharing the happy news all over, right?
70-20s.
Yes. So, national cricket team will engage in the 7-match T20I series against England on home soil from September 20th till October 2nd, as Pakistan Cricket Board announced the tour schedule for England's historic tour of the Pakistan after 17 years. Wow. According to PCB, Karachi and Lahore will jointly host the action, with the first 4 matches to be played at the National Stadium on September 20th, 22nd, 23rd and 25th. Whereas Lahore's Gaddafi Stadium will host the remaining 3 matches on September 28th, 30th and October 2nd. The T20I series will be part of England's first leg of their tour of the Pakistan, and the team will return for the 3-match series in December after the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Australia 2022. Moreover, the complete schedule of England's Test series will be announced in the due course. So Shahzad, this is really fantastic, and when a foreign team is coming to Pakistan, I think there's also a lot of money which is pouring into our economy, and we desperately need that because global inflation has hit us really hard when it comes to that. So, sports is not just about, sportsmen. Of course, that the game is designed in a way that one team will win, the other will lose. But what matters is how the sportsman's spirit survives in that team, the confidence building, the inclusivity and whatnot.
True.
Right? And speaking of inclusivity, Shahzad, so I was going through a research where it was mentioned, that the companies nowadays, they're hiring people, and the top 3 skills that, they recommend when they're hiring is, number 1 is complex problem solving.
Okay.
2 is
I
critical.
can do that.
Yes. 2 is critical thinking.
2, yeah.
And 3 is creativity. Right.
I can do that too.
Oh, you are
All right,
talented.
but very quickly, we actually have to head out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Very sorry.
People with disabilities, they're so good at discovering the patterns, and that is why we need to talk about the inclusivity. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce our worthy guest, because he's going to tell us more about them. So we have been joined by Ittefaq Khalid Khan Saab, who happens to be social activist and development professional. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to World This Morning.
Wa alaikum assalam and very good morning. Thank you very much for having me in the show.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us, and it's certainly our pleasure to actually have you over here.
Right.
Now, sir, when we talk about inclusivity, I think that the first part which we really need to address over here is education. And in terms of education, when we talk about people who are differently abled, that's how I would want to kind of refer to them as well. I would certainly want them to be under the same roof where every other child is getting their education, so that they certainly feel themselves that they're a part of the same society, that they are part of the same nation.
Right.
First of all, how do we do that?
Okay, so basically we are talking about the inclusion and inclusivity. So it goes across all the sectors, including education, health, employment, and all that.
Right.
And when we specifically talk about education, you're absolutely right that we need to see children with disabilities under the same roof where we have all other children, so that in the future they can become part of the mainstream society. So that is the key, basically.
True.
So how we can do that is basically just to we just need to make few adaptations, few modifications.
For example,
in the policy as well as in the infrastructure of the schools, just to make the environment inclusive and accessible for children with disabilities. For example, we need to make changes in the policy that can guide us that these children are also can easily be mainstream into the mainstream schools. And then at the school level, we need to have we need to make some adaptation in the infrastructure, for example, to make them accessible for wheelchair users, children with physical limitations who use wheelchairs. We need to make some adaptation in the teachers' training, just to equip teachers that they are able to interact with this kind of children and make their classrooms inclusive of children with disabilities. We need to make adaptation in the curriculum as well, and we need to facilitate through these systems. For example, for the blind children, we need to adapt and have the curriculum in the braille, and for the hearing impaired, we need to have it in the sign language, so that every child can be accommodated in the same class.
Exactly, and this is exactly how PTV has been spearheading as well, because we do have news bulletins where we do have sign language as well. We always make sure that for whatever content we share is for everybody out there. But sir, since today happens to be a very politically busy day, as my wonderful colleague just mentioned, so very quickly before we wrap up this segment, I want you to share your idea of inclusivity for people who are differently able.
Okay, so right.
And I also want you to address the stigma that is attached to such kind of.
Yeah. So for that, I'll refer back to the start of the segment when we were talking about Shahzad was telling us a story about the use of glasses, a story of his own.
Right.
So he mentioned that he's somehow stopped wearing glasses just because his sister made a comment. So that is basically the stigma. So in case of males, in case of Shahzad,
Right.
that was not that severe.
Right.
But if you then think about the girls, the
Right.
women,
Right.
the people living in rural areas, in difficult circumstances, so there are stigmas attached with the use of the glasses, and in the same way there is a stigma and discrimination attached with the disability. So they are believed they are believed not to be able to perform tasks as per their peer with
Typical
non-disabilities.
right.
But that's not true. We have so many examples. We have wonderful people with disabilities that have created a huge impact in not in lives of their own, but in the life of other people.
Right. That's
So this is one part that we are talking about, the discrimination, and then I'm coming back that how we think, how
Your
I think
idea,
about
yes.
So as I mentioned, it goes across all the sectors, starting from the education, because that is the start.
True.
And then it comes to the health, and then lastly, the most important part is the inclusion of people with disabilities into the job market, into the employment, and that is keeping the time in mind. I'll talk more about it because that is something more important. Because if you want to make them fully included into the society, they need to be financially independent.
True.
But they feel challenges. For example, the employers are not disability confident,
Right.
and then the people with disabilities, the job seekers, are not very much self-confident, and due to
And
the
prepared
stigma
for the change.
and prepared for the change. So we need to work on both ends. We need to
Yes.
build.
And we need to celebrate the neurodiversity because, this is something to be celebrated. They are different and they can contribute as fully to the society as any other people can, because we have a lot of, contributions from society like Einstein and etc.
Yeah.
So we are going to a short break, and after we are back, we're going to talk about some very interesting subject.
अज़्मे आली शान, शाद रहे पाकिस्तान।
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Donald Blome, the U.S. Ambassador to Pakistan. On behalf of the U.S. mission to Pakistan and the people of the United States, I congratulate the people of Pakistan on the 75th anniversary of your Independence Day. Yom-e-Azadi Mubarak. This day also marks the 75th anniversary of relations between our two countries. Over these 75 years, we have built an enduring partnership and strong bonds between our peoples. We will continue to work side by side to tackle the greatest challenges we face. Azmi Ali Shan, Shad Rahe Pakistan.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, and earlier we were definitely speaking about inclusivity, and I think whenever we talk about inclusiveness, it actually kind of entails, for all of those people coming into the country as well.
That's
and,
true.
you be looking after them, and since Pakistan is known as the most hospitable nation,
That's
we're
true.
very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be Turkish German. It's a third visit to Pakistan. and she's made videos on YouTube where how she actually kind of respected the culture of KPK by not shaking hands with people over there too as well. But for further details, I'm going to move on to her. We're very lucky that we have been joined by Sada Noor. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum, good morning, how are you?
Alaikum salam, I'm fine, thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you over here. But first things first, so I've seen your YouTube videos. You happen to be a travel vlogger. It's the third time that you're over here in Pakistan. What keeps on bringing you back to Pakistan?
It's actually the hospitality, the love, and the good food, and especially the music.
Wow.
And Pakistan has its own magic, which kind of keeps the foreigners here.
Wow.
Okay, so you have been born in Germany, but you have Turkish roots, and now you're in Pakistan. So you have sort of, intricate knowledge of three cultures. So what are some of the similarities that you find in our culture and the Turkish one too?
Actually, well, first of all, the religion, of course, and also the hospitality. People here are very warm-hearted and outgoing and extroverted.
Okay.
And this is what I love the most about Pakistanis, actually, because everyone wants to help you, everyone wants to talk to you, just want to join you, and it's so beautiful.
And at times even I feel like being a foreigner in my own country, so that everyone helps me too as well. I think we do have double standards over here, but it's great to have you. Where have you been, so far, when we talk about Pakistan? Because the one video I saw of yours on your YouTube channel was about KPK, how you were telling people that, okay, if you have to come to Pakistan, these are the things you have to bear in mind. So once again, if I am to ask you that, for all those people, because we go out in 46 different countries, that if they are to visit Pakistan, what are those things which they really need to keep in their mind? Please go ahead and look into the camera, okay?
Well, actually, just learn a few phrases in Urdu. It's very, very important.
For example?
Mujhe Urdu nahi aati. The most important one.
Yeah.
Actually the basics only. You have to be prepared for spicy food, especially. A lot of attention, because everyone just shares.
I think Anatolian food is also very spicy when it comes to that. No? Can't we compete the Anatolian food?
Not really.
Really?
No, it doesn't
You went
reach
to the wrong
the spice,
restaurant, but please continue,
Other than that, you have to be prepared for a lot of attention, since foreigners are getting a lot of love here. And actually a completely different world. It's awesome. You have to be prepared for heat, especially. And the best you can do over here is going in shalwar kameez. It's so comfortable, it's so fashionable. It's just awesome.
It's wonderful. And while I was going through your travel vlogs as well, I saw that, you went to the northern side as well. You went to Hyderabad, I believe, too, as well, which is insane.
Right.
So from the north to the south, how was the trip all the way? How was the infrastructure? How were the facilities? For everybody who actually wants to travel to Pakistan, I think when it comes out from your mouth, it will be more kind of convincing, right?
Yeah, actually it was awesome. I would do it again, but some jeep treks were very, very...
For example?
Yeah, uncomfortable. Ferry Meadows and Kumrat Valley.
Yeah,
it's so bumpy, unpaved roads, and I was actually very, very scared that the jeep would fall off the jeep track. But other than that, it was definitely worth the trek.
And it's because of the fact that 8 months, ladies and gentlemen, they are actually covered in snow. So afterwards, while the snow actually kind of melts off, there's hardly any roads too as well. So you really need to pick up which weather to come in, because that's something which everybody's looking for. But this time around, because the last 2 times when you were you here in winters?
No, I was here.
So you've always been in summers too as well. I think you're liking the Pakistani heat. What about the fruits? Did you take a bite of these lovely mangoes we have over here in Pakistan?
I did.
And what other fruits and dishes did you try?
Actually, I tried a lot of dishes. Lately, I tried nihari.
Wow.
I even was bold enough to try the brain, actually. Would have never done this abroad or at home or anywhere, but people were just telling me, just try it, you will like it, and I loved it.
And you like it? Wow, that's wonderful. So one of the most common dishes which everybody loves when they are here is biryani too as well.
Yeah.
Have you tasted biryani?
Yeah, it's awesome.
So is it biryani or is it pilaf which you like the most?
Biryani.
Biryani, really? That's
because I believe that in Islamabad we only get palau. We do not get biryani. There are few restaurants which will give you biryani, But if you are to actually taste the original biryani, you really need to go
But
to
you know,
Sindh.
the Turkish pilav is a bit different because it's boiled rice and there's something else. It's very
You know,
tasty.
it's more about health now, but we're talking about more about taste
Rich
over here.
sort
you
of
know,
spices,
so
yes.
spoiling your taste buds as well.
Right.
So you know, when everybody comes down to Pakistan, these are the 2-3 most common things which they speak about as well. What is that one thing which you think only you might have felt while being in Pakistan? Oh, that's a different one.
Oh, yeah, that's a different question.
Because you know, one day you might sit down, you like, okay, you know, so the trip has been fabulous so far, but
Right.
this is this one thing which I've enjoyed the most over
What,
here.
yes, and what is the one thing that you would like to take back and, you know, tell other people, you know, what you like about Pakistan?
For example, when I go abroad, I think I love the sky because there's too much pollution over here, so the sky is more clearer. You know, you get good pictures too as well. So this is one thing which I enjoy abroad. So what do you enjoy over here in Pakistan the most?
Well, actually, what I enjoy the most is to see the reality.
Yeah.
Because I've been told that Pakistan would be completely different. Or from what you can see and read on media,
Right.
and then came and experienced it, I was like completely blown away how different it is actually over here. It's just beautiful and yeah.
Wow, it's
Thank
just
you.
wonderful. And you know, have you been to Itwar Bazaar or Mangal Bazaar or you know some markets to shop for your loved ones as well? Have you been there?
Not yet. I've been to Raja Bazaar in
Raja
Rawalpindi.
Bazaar. Raja Bazaar is the bazaar to be at. Yeah, you can buy a lot of crockery stuff from there as well.
And that
you
too
know.
in very cheap rates, right?
Exactly, that
Yeah.
too on very cheap rates too as well. But you know, one thing which you're going to take with you from Pakistan will be
As a souvenir, maybe.
Shawls, all the
shawls.
shawls.
How many shawls have you bought so far?
5.
5?
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's quite a lot of money to spend as well. But Sada, thank you very much for being with us. It was wonderful to be in conversation with you.
Yes.
And we want you to be back over here in Pakistan 100 or 100 more times as well. Thank you very much once again. Thank you very much for putting a positive word forward and image forward for Pakistan, which we truly deserve to have. We've worked hard towards that. For everybody who's out there, it's about time that we take off. Ladies and gentlemen, till the next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning!
Thank you.